Hello and welcome. My name is Jeremiah, the Bullfrog Hale, and this is Tips and Tricks with ProPricer. We'll cover useful tips and tricks in ProPricer that help you leverage your time better and get things priced. Today, we're going to talk about getting the most out of the workflow feature in ProPricer. In just a quick disclaimer, this video assumes that you know the basics of workflow, and if you're completely new to it, check out my last Tips and Tricks episode, The Basics of Workflow. Now, let's get started. So let's say you've got workflow enabled and people are using it to track their estimates. But what would you say if I asked, how well is it actually working? Well, workflow reports can answer that real quick. Heading over to the reports tab at the top of ProPricer and then clicking on the reports list, you will find 3 workflow reports. Let me filter this down real quick. The reports are called Task Workflow Status, Workflow Log, and Workflow Roles. Task Workflow Status report is a very detailed list of each task and its current workflow status. And the Workflow Roles report shows how workflow is set up in the current selected proposal. Finally, we get to the Log report, which shows every workflow transaction for this proposal stored by ProPricer. These are all useful reports, but the Workflow Log is the best one, in my opinion, because it uses an ad hoc layout which allows you to pick and choose the exact columns of data that appear on the report. Also, all the information related to workflow is included in this report. Before I run it, I'll make a quick custom ad hoc layout and call it Tips and Tricks. You don't have to do this, but I encourage it. Then I'll add my custom columns for the report by dragging them over here to the middle. Okay. Now, let's save it and run this report. All right. Now, all of the workflow data that I selected is right here to answer any of my workflow-related questions. Next, let's look at setting up workflows for different projects. As you probably already know, it can be a bit of time to set up a workflow with all its roles, steps, and users. You also probably know that ProPricer proposal defaults can contain a default workflow setup for every new proposal. It's good to have this set up, but it is only one workflow set, and you might need to set up a little bit more flexible if you need more than one workflow for different types of proposals. For example, a commercial proposal versus a government proposal. The answer to this is template proposals. Template proposals are awesome, and they can get you out of a lot of binds in ProPricer. And if you'd like to learn more about template proposals, I've got another tips and tricks episode about that. Anyway, where was I? Setting up a workflow template proposal. I'll start by going to the proposal section in the navigation pane, then right-click and create a new folder called templates. I'm also going to add a special character like an exclamation point to the beginning of the name of this folder so it stays at the top of the list in the navigation pane. So that's a nice little neat trick right there, and I also talk about that on my other tips and tricks episode. Next, I'm going to copy the government workflow proposal and move it into the folder. To do this, I'll right-click on the proposal, select copy, and choose the new folder that I made as the destination folder. Also, we will need to make sure that the copy workflow status is unchecked because I don't want the current status of every task in the old proposal. I just want the workflow structure. So it's kind of deceiving. Do you want to copy workflow or not? That copy is only just the task's statuses, not the actual workflow structure itself. I'll leave open after copy checked, then click OK. When the new proposal opens, I recommend cleaning up the tasks that should not be reused and doing the same with the proposal properties. All right, now you can just copy this proposal anytime you want to start a new proposal with a government proposal workflow. Okay, let's do a quick summary. Being an advanced workflow user, you can report on the statuses of a proposal using the workflow reports. Also, the maintenance and administration of workflow roles, users, and steps for each new proposal, which can be daunting, is made easy with proposal templates. And the next task would be setting up templates for a commercial workflow or whatever workflow you guys are actually doing. If you enjoyed this episode and found it helpful, please share it with a colleague who uses ProPricer. If you have any questions about ProPricer or maybe some tips and tricks of your own, please email our support team directly. Who knows, your tip just might make it up on our next episode. Again, My name is Jeremiah, and as always, thanks for watching.